All right, here we are. So welcome everybody. This is going to be my last Facebook Live video, at least for a little while. Perhaps later on in the future I'll come back, but for now we're transitioning into summer, and so I have to focus on some other things. So this will be our last Facebook Live for a little while. And a big thank you to the Koboski family for letting me come and explore their backyard. They have this very cool property behind me. You can see all these buildings behind me were built in the 18 and 1900s. The original building was built in 1812. So this is the old Main Street in this town. Lots of cool history here. And the property that we're about to go down, which is down into the woods here, is very large and untouched. You'll see there are parts that are unmowed and it'll look a little wild. So again, big thank you to the Koboski family for letting us explore. And so I want to start off with the disclaimer here that normally when I'm doing these live videos, I kind of have things set up so that I can go from one thing to the next pretty quickly. But since things are going to be spaced out here, there might be times where I may not say as much, or there might be a big gap between when I'm saying, when I'm talking about one thing and then when I move on to the next thing. Now, I'll have to show you guys my look here that that I have on, because I think I look like either a giant blueberry or MC Hammer dressed as a giant blueberry. So let me set this down for a moment. I'm completely blue. Guys, I just saw a deer. I just scared him off though. Oh man, I wish I noticed. So, the place that I'm going to has very tall grass that's filled with poison ivy, and so I'm gonna prepare myself for that by tucking in my socks very fashionably, and this will help protect me from any ticks that will come in. And then I'm almost completely covered, so that I won't have to worry as much about touching poison ivy, which there's going to be a lot, and the mosquitoes as well. So yeah, and when it comes to ticks, again, the best thing to do for ticks is to just do a tick check at the end of the day, or even after this. I'll check my body for ticks, maybe take a shower, and if I do find a tick that's bitten down onto me, I have 24 hours to take that tick off before any sorts of diseases like Lyme disease get transferred to me. But you have to remove the full body, the head included, and if you're not comfortable doing that, you can have a professional or a doctor do it. And again, if you have any questions about ticks, always feel free to reach out to us about that. I'm sort of inclined to see if I can go find that deer really quick for you guys. Hello, Miss Jen. Let's see really quick. So the deer was up over this hill, so I'm gonna go run up there really quick. Nice and quiet, although I heard him run really far. Also, last time I was up on this hill, was with my friend and his dog, and we accidentally stepped on a bee's nest. So hopefully I don't do that again. Nothing over this hill. Except, actually, this wonderful plant. So this whole meadow right here is a very important plant for us called jewelweed. And you can recognize it from these ridged edges like this. And lots of times it grows in these giant fields kind of like this. And also lots of times it likes to grow next to poison ivy, which I don't see any directly around. Actually, I take that back. Here's some right here. So poison ivy looks a little similar. It's a little bit ridged, but not as dramatic, and it grows in that leaves of 3. And here's our jewelweed, and the jewelweed has some more dramatic ridges. And what's awesome about jewelweed is that it is an antidote to things that make you things that make you itch. So I already have a mosquito bite on my hand, which is itching pretty good. And if I rub this jewelweed on my hand, it'll relieve that itching, which I'll do that at the end. But jewelweed is nice to know. It's a nice plant to know, and luckily it actually grows very close to poison ivy, so it's always nearby. Another way to identify it is in the fall. There's a nice orange flower that has a nice sweet nectar that some people try to drink it. There's not much in the flower, so really you don't get that much out of it, but hummingbirds like it, so it's nice to have around for the hummingbirds as well. So we're starting to get to the part where the grass gets pretty high here. So we're gonna move on through. And as always, if you guys have any questions or things that you've seen that you'd like to share in the comments, go ahead. That'll especially help me with my transitions here. We're gonna go to this meadow that's up here. But first off, if any of you have seasonal allergies, you may want to pay attention to this part. This is a white pine tree that I'm looking at right here. And white pine is nice. It's an evergreen tree, so it stays green all year round. And it also has healing properties for us. It helps being around it. The oils that kind of come off of these trees help to reduce our cortisol levels and stress levels and reduce heart rate. So it really helps us stay calm unless it is spring and you have seasonal allergies. And this part right here is the pollen. So this is the male part of the tree. Let's see. Can I get any pollen out of this? Not too much left. It's kind of old. Oh, there's a little bit. But yeah, so these trees, they don't use pollinators like insects or hummingbirds to move their pollen from one tree to the next. They use the wind, and that type of pollen is the pollen that gets up into our sinuses and can cause our seasonal allergies. So here's the culprit for any of you seasonal allergy sufferers. And if you do suffer from that, I apologize. That is probably terrible. Hello to Allegra. I saw that she's watching. And hello, Sarah. Hello, Jen from Windsor. Hello, Eileen and Red Rabbit. Thank you for watching today. It's getting really wild now. So we're going to go into this meadow. And if you guys watched my video on natural navigation, I'm going to use some of those techniques right now to try to orient myself so that I know which way I walked so that I don't get lost. Because as you can see, there's no trail. It's just tall grass. This is all up to my waist right now. And actually that tall grass over there is as tall as me. So that's good. All right. And the mosquitoes are already getting through my shirt. Gotta love nature, right? All right, so let's stand in the middle of this field and just take a look around. There's a little cardinal there. So, looking at the trees, we remember the trees are pointing towards south. And I don't know if it's easy to tell in this video, but let's go to this one here. The trees are kind of pointing in this direction, and now let's look for the sun. You guys look, because you could probably see better with me without going blind. So the sun is there, and it's just about 10 o'clock. So let's do that watch trick. All right, so sun here. Let's point our hour hand to the sun, and then south is going to be in between the hour hand and the number 12. So south is going to be a little bit to the side over here, maybe over this way. So we've oriented ourselves to south now. And I want to go, so this is south, which means this is north behind me. I'm going to go in this direction. So I'm going to turn to have the sun face on my left side. So I want to see if you guys can come up with what direction do you think I'm going to be walking in? Do you think I'm going to be walking north, south, east, or west? If the sun is close to the south, then I'm going to put the sun on my left side. What direction am I going to walk in? And I'll let you guys answer that as we keep going here. My mom says, hi, Sam, from the chickens, the chicks, and the mother hen. We're all watching. So unfortunately, I can't share the chicks at the end of this video because I'm not home. But Mom, if you have a picture of them that you'd like to post up in the comments of their new environment, that would be great. Again, I'm going to show you guys, oh, that's me. I'm going to show you guys this here again. So this is our poison ivy. So a lot of people recognize poison ivy as the red and green leaves, but they're only red and green in like April and May when they're just starting to grow. But as they get to be more adults or older, they lose that reddish shine and they're just green. But they have these pretty dramatic ridges sometimes. A lot of times I think that they look kind of like a mitten, like this one right here. But yeah, so the leaves of 3 with the ridged edges like that is your clue to watch out for poison ivy. And luckily for me, when I was a kid, I used to get poison ivy really bad, but I don't anymore. If I did, I probably wouldn't be back here right now exploring this area for you. Kayla says west. Kayla, you are correct. I'm going to be heading west right now. And I'll have to keep that in mind because when I turn around to get back to my car, I'm going to have to go east. Very good, Kayla. Yeah, Kate Fitzpatrick also gets mosquito bites. Like I said, I don't get poison ivy that badly, but I still get mosquito bites pretty good. And normally my tactic is to stand around all the kids wearing bug spray, but today I put some on. You can also use sassafras leaves. If you crush up sassafras leaves and you rub them on your skin, that works as a bug spray as well. So I want you guys to look around at these plants here. These are all ferns. And ferns like to grow in areas that have lots of water. So if I'm seeing ferns here, then I can assume that there must be water nearby. So let's explore for some water. Here it is. So this is a little offshoot of the river that's nearby. The river is called the Scantic River. And here's our poison ivy again, all over the place. It is a vine, so it does grow up trees. So you gotta be careful for that. So we're gonna try and go down here because the mud down there is excellent for finding footprints. And if we find any cool footprints, then we know what animals have been nearby. So let's do that. This grass is so tall. I want to show you guys how high up this is. I don't know know if you guys can tell, but I'm kind of walking on these already beaten down paths. So it's interesting because we can see where the animals have been. And I'm hearing something nearby here. Oh. There's something over in the bush there. Hello? I'm going to say it's probably not best to startle. If we don't know what it is, because I can't see him, I just saw a rustling in the bushes. And I'm going to play it safe. At least this time. Alright, so I've made it to the river. This is the Scantic River. It's very nice. It leads to the Connecticut River. One year, my friend and I kayaked down the whole river. Or, well, we started here. And we kayaked all the way to the Connecticut River, which we thought would be pretty easy. But there's a lot of that in the way. And we had to move our kayaks around it. It was definitely an adventure. Alright, so let's see what we got here for tracks. Lots of worn down tracks, actually. Those ones are deep, too. Here's a good one. Any guesses on what this one is? An animal with 2 hooves. Has some horns. Here's a good one. So this is a good spot to find these animals because they'll come here to drink. They come here to look for food. I actually saw one at the beginning of the video. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to show you guys, but they come over to our meadow to get some sun. Oh, what do we have here? That's exciting. This is a different animal. Any guesses on this one? I know Miss Jen knows this one. It's an animal that also tends to like your trash. So I'm not getting any guesses for the first one, so I'll tell you. This one over here is a deer. It's a deer hoof. And actually, you can tell which way they're walking because their hooves kind of point in the direction. So this deer was walking towards the water. This deer footprint is actually walking away from the water because the water's over here. And Kate, you're right. This one over here is a raccoon. And the raccoon was here probably also to drink water, but I know raccoons also like to wash their food. So sometimes if you give raccoons an apple or something, they'll wash off that apple. They'll dip it in the water before they eat it. It's very cute. And there's also, Miss Sarah, you're right too, perfect raccoon print. Perfect answer. There's also this very cute video that I encourage you to look up of a raccoon that has cotton candy. And like I said, they like to wash their food, so they put the cotton candy in the water and it disappears. And this poor raccoon is so confused as to what just happened. But it's very cute. It's very cute. Pretty crazy stuff. There's a lot going on here. There's also some little ones over here. And these ones could be some kind of weasel or a squirrel or something. Tracks are difficult for me specifically. And if they are difficult for you and you find a cool one and you can't figure out what it is, you can do what I do, which is spend some time on the internet comparing them. And then if that doesn't work, you can use a Facebook group. I'm on a few Facebook groups that I post up the photo. I say, I found this in Connecticut, in a forest habitat. They like if you put down something for size reference. I always forget that. And then people that might be better at identifying tracks can say, hey, that looks like a raccoon footprint or a deer footprint or something. And then you can learn. So, pretty cool. So lots of traffic going on here. I am going to continue on into the forest. So we've left our meadow over here. I'm putting the sun back on my left side, and I'm going to continue west into the forest. And excuse me if I stumble here. It'll probably look funny because the mud here is very soft. So I got to go kind of quick. But actually you can see that we're following the deer here as well. The deer have been going up this way. It's good in nature to follow animal paths. One, because you might find a cool animal. And two, animals tend to know where the safest place to walk is. So you can trust their judgment. Ooh, I made it. Okay, cool. So much poison ivy. Look at how tall this grass is. It's like right up to my shoulder. Wild. Okay. So I want to see if you guys can see this. Do you guys see this beaten down path in the center here between the plants? It's easy for me to see on my end. I'm just not sure how easy it is to see through the video. But let me know if you can see it. I'm going to follow this path for a little while longer and see what we can find. Kate said that she was running in her backyard down the hill and there was a deer when she started to sing and her tail wagged. So basically what you're telling me, Kate, is that you are Snow White, or you are some kind of Disney princess, and you have the magical ability of song to attract animals. And if that is actually the case, we should hire you at Woodcock as the animal charmer, the animal singer. Thank you, Sharon, for letting me know that you can see it. I'm gonna keep the camera off me so that you guys can see this cool environment here. I feel like I'm in Jurassic Park, except without the velociraptors attacking me in the kitchen. So we're gonna cut over a little bit this way. So there's a clearing over here. So something has pushed down a lot of plants in this area, and I'm not exactly sure who it is. But my assumption would be, since there's a very clear path leading right to the water, is that it could be some kind of a muskrat or some animal that relies on the water here and then comes back up to sleep on the land. And the muskrat, if you don't know, is like a small beaver with a tail like an opossum or a rat tail or something. They're actually very cute. I encourage you to look them up. But that would be my guess here. But if you know any better, or if you know someone who knows better about these kind of clearings, definitely let me know. But yeah, so you could spend a lot of time exploring in a place like this, which is what I'm doing. Go a little bit more. Oh, there was a really cool dragonfly, but he flew away. I hope you guys are enjoying just watching me like feel so much wonder and stuff. This is what I do when I walk in the woods, especially by myself, except I don't talk out loud as much. Oh, here's our dragonfly. Wait. Oh no, come back. Let me love you. Can you guys hear that bird? It sounds kind of like a robin, but a little bit different, actually. And that's an alarm call. So hopefully that alarm call is for me. Most times they are. And what that means is that the robin is just a little too uncomfortable with how close I'm getting. And actually, as I've walked away, the robin has calmed down, so that's a good sign. But actually, if you were to go out in the woods and sit very still, if you can identify those bird alarm calls, that is a way to tell if something is coming, like a different animal or something. Or even, in my case, if my mom's cats are lost in the backyard, I can listen for the bird alarm calls and I'll know exactly where they are and I can go find them. But some people are very specific. They can say, oh, it is a robin, I just saw him fly by. Some people are very specific. They can hear and see the bird behavior and say, oh, that's a snake over there, or that's a fox over there, because they behave differently with different types of animals. If they see the birds coming down from the branches, then they know that perhaps it's a hawk that's coming from above, and there's a distinct call for that. But if they see the birds hopping up and not going too high, maybe just landing right here, just a few feet off the ground, then maybe it's a snake that can't jump, or if they go a little bit higher, maybe it's a fox that can jump, so they have to avoid it. So a whole bunch of different behaviors with birds that if you learn to identify them, it's very, it opens up a whole nother interpretation, a whole nother level of interpretation to what's going on around you in nature. Now, I want to show you guys this track here that I'm seeing. Right here, we think, when I say we, I mean I found this track a different time and had to look it up myself, and I used those Facebook groups, and we think that it is a snapping turtle footprint, relatively small one though, which is pretty cool. I mean, the water is right here, so there definitely can be snapping turtles in here, which I wish I knew that when I went kayaking in here, but yeah. So here's a cool snapping turtle footprint, and then this is very old and weathered. Another thing that you can do is say, is you can age how old tracks are, so you can tell when the animal was here. And this one looks very old right here. And it looks like it's probably some kind of a heron or something, like a great blue heron. And that also makes sense because they fish for food in the water, so it would make sense to see one here. But also, on top of it is a deer. So I know that the heron was here a while ago. That footprint is pretty weathered. And also on top of that footprint is the deer. So I know the deer was here after the heron. But even that one looks a little bit weathered too. So I don't know how long ago it was, but it's easy to tell if it rains. So like if you knew that it rained last night and you saw that the footprint was all covered in raindrops, then you know that the animal was there before the rain. But if it rained last night and you were there in the morning and you saw a fresh footprint, you know the animal was there pretty recently. I'm getting destroyed by mosquitoes now. Let's see what we got over here. I haven't checked out over here. What? That's nuts. All right, hold on. That's pretty big, actually. Which could be from just sliding, but I mean, that's like almost as big as my hand. Let's see if I can get down without falling. That's nuts. If I had to take a guess, I'm hoping at least that that's beaver. But I don't know, that's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. All right, so this has been running very long, so I'm gonna end it here actually. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you have any questions or if you're watching this later on, put your comments in the, or put your questions in the comments. I'll check throughout the day. If you've missed any of these videos, then I encourage you to, you can either go through the Facebook page or we posted them all to our YouTube page, so you can check out Woodcock Nature Center on YouTube. They'll be up there as well. Perhaps I'll look up that footprint after this, Sharon, and I will and I will tell you if it was a beaver footprint or not. I do want to confirm that before I make that claim, because like I said, I'm not too good with footprints. But yeah, so again, this is the last Facebook Live for a little while. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for everybody who donates. It really has been helping us out at this time. Yeah, keep commenting on it. I really enjoy answering all your questions, and I will see you guys next time we do this. Oh, I wanted to add, to get myself back. Now I had the sun on my left side, so I was going west. Now I need to go back east, so I'm going to put the sun on my right side and head back east. So that way I don't get lost. And I'll follow those animal tracks back. Yeah. All right. Thank you everybody for watching. Until the next time.